Welcome to the Laws of Life webcast network. The Laws of Sex starts now.
Hello, Blanca. How's it going today?
Everything is going amazing. How are you doing?
I am doing good. I've had a pretty rough few weeks, not feeling very well. So I am back on track and ready to finally talk sex.
You know what? I am glad you're back in the saddle and ready to talk about sex again because
you were bored, weren't you?
Yes, we can't talk about sex without you, our resident sex coach. I mean, come on. This is important stuff. And everybody out there, thank you for watching The Laws of Life with Blanca. And obviously, this is The Laws of Sex with Dr. Stacy Friedman. If you have questions, we want you to engage. We want you to ask questions. Participate. Am I right, Dr. Stacy?
Absolutely. We are happy to answer anybody's questions. If you see there's something you want to know, message me, message, Blanca, message my page. Also, for all the women out there, I have a private women's only Facebook group called Intimacy, Sex, and Empowerment. And that's a great place to also ask some questions if you're a little bit more on the shy side. And I can take some of those questions and answer them right here on the show. So definitely go on board over there. So yeah, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the last few weeks and kind of where I got the subject of my show tonight. I've actually getting better, finally, having COVID. I had it about 3 weeks ago. So the last few weeks have been a little bit rough. Had pneumonia, fever for 6 days, a lot of the symptoms. Thank God I only had a moderate case. I didn't have to go to the hospital, but I did have to go to urgent care a couple times. It was exhausting, and I'm still trying to get myself, back on track. But one of the things that was very difficult, I'm a very hands-on person, and one of my love languages is touch. And so being sick wasn't fun because you literally are away from everybody. So I was thinking so much of the importance of touch, which is why I wanted to talk about that today. Because when people are ill, or now with this whole quarantine and pandemic, everything going on, people can't touch like they used to. Causes a lot of issues with people's mental state as well. It's very emotional. People are alone. One of my good friends was in the hospital. There's a lot of that lack of touch and affection from people at this time. Makes it tough.
Of course. No, I mean, being single right now has got to be difficult.
Dating.
What you've just gone through, how long did it take you to go through the process?
Well, it's been 3 weeks as of Tuesday or so is 3 weeks. The last, the last 3 days, I've been finally feeling like myself again. I'm starting to get some smell and scent and taste back. I put on deodorant today and I was like, I could smell. So, still a little bit out of breath, but the pneumonia's gone and I'm feeling much better. So I'm glad. But
we're so happy. You look beautiful. We're just so happy that you're back with us, that you're healthy. And
feeling good.
And I acknowledge you for opening up about that. That's not an easy thing to talk about.
Well, it is there. I don't understand why there's so much shame against getting sick. You get a cold, you're sick. I think because maybe it's been so politicized that people are afraid to share if they haven't. Did you do the right thing? Did you not do the right thing? Did you wear a mask? Did you not wear a mask? It's not about that. People have no idea. I mean, I've been very, very careful, So I think that it's an illness. You can get sick and that's it. And you just take care of yourself and just, the more you speak about it, the more people understand it's real and you can get the support. But that goes back to the whole thing with touch. I was, by myself in my room, my fiance slept in the other room. I kicked my kids out for, a week and a half. You have no touch. And so, one of the things, if you want to go to my quote on the next page,
sure.
It says, no other form of communication is as universally understood as touch. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. That is the wrong subject.
Was that the wrong? Oh, I?
Oh yeah, you have the wrong thing put up there.
Oh
So
my God. Are you serious? Wait a minute. You said
that was
today was about sex appeal, didn't you?
no, it's touch.
Today's,
Touch.
okay, hold on a minute. Oh
Yeah,
my
check.
goodness.
I emailed it to you, the last one, but I'll continue with the quote. It says, "No other form of communication is as universally understood as touch. The compassionate touch of a hand or a reassuring hug can take away our fears, soothe our anxieties, and fill the emptiness of being lonely." Lonely. That's from Randy G. Fine. So one of the reasons why I really appreciate that quote is
Mhm.
because, you know, you were born to most to have human touch. You have situations where you have a baby. If you leave that baby alone with no touch and no
Well, you know what?
contact.
You know what? Oh wow. Keep going. Yeah.
Yeah,
What would happen?
well, that's what I'm saying, is that they don't have the same. There's been some proven studies where they don't have the same development. Their needs are of touch are not being met, the security, the safety. So that kind of brings on to you know to where we are right now.
Mm,
So I guess we can't find it. I emailed it. Maybe it went to your junk. I'm not sure, but that's okay. I
okay.
can still go on.
Of
So
course.
yeah,
Of
so
course.
so that's kind of what the importance of the touch is that
Hmm.
it really makes a big difference when you're in a relationship, because so many times when I'm seeing people,
Hmm.
uh, if they're in a rough place or they're lacking their intimacy, I say to them, when was the last time you guys gave each other like a really warm, tight hug? Or when was the last time you gave each other a kiss? Or when was the last time you like tickled each other in a playful way? And a lot of times they can't answer. And those are the couples that are usually the ones that are struggling.
And Yvette Aubin says, "Hey, lady, glad you're feeling better. I know the virus is real, but I do believe the hype of it is blown out. Anyway, touch is so important." And Karen South is also watching with you. So we all do give you a lot of love, and we're grateful that you're back in action and that
Well,
you're
I'm
healthy.
excited. I'm excited to be back in action, because it's just like, you think you're getting a little bit better and then boom, you get hit again. So that's kind of how this virus has been. It's like, finally you're like, okay, I've had 3 really good days. so I'm feeling good. But I think, like what Yvette said, the touch is very important. Sometimes
Yeah.
what happens is touch can slow down or stop in a relationship. It's because either couples are too familiar with each other and they forget to do the things that they need to get close. They lose their touch habits, basically. At the beginning of a relationship, everyone's all like all over each other. And
Yeah.
then years later, you're like, when was the last time? Oh, I don't know. It's been like, you
Do
know,
you do you think that's inevitable though? Can a relationship ever? I mean, this looks like. I mean, let's talk turkey. A lot of people, the first couple of years, they're really excited, and then time passes, and then I mean, there is what's the rate of divorce right now? 60%. I mean,
it's high.
is it? I don't want to be pessimistic. I believe
Right.
in love. I truly do. But you do this for a living. Is it happening to everyone?
No, it's definitely not happening to everyone. I will tell you, it takes 2 people to tango. And they say, relationships are 50-50. Relationships are not 50-50. They're 100 and 100. It's basically you're putting in 100% of what you can to the relationship, and the other person needs to put in 100%.
Mm.
So if you're not getting needs met, there has to be the communication. If you're feeling like, obviously, you feel with kids, with work, with this, with that, life does get in the way, but then you have to stop and say, okay, what have we been doing that is changing, and make yourself get back to that point. um, I know that I've been in my relationship for 8 years, and we touch 20 times a day. We make it a point to you see your partner, what can I do one thing every single day to show that partner that I am attracted to them, that I love them, that I care about them, that I want to be close to them. And obviously, some marriages, maybe those people don't want to be close to them, so they don't touch as much. But I think that a lot of times also is one partner may fear the intention of the touch. So they
Mm.
stop touching, meaning, let's say a lot of times it does happen with women and men, where the woman's like, well, I don't want to touch him because then he thinks I'm going to want sex.
Oh.
So that touching stops, and then the man is not getting the touch he needs. So he will go after the woman and touch, and she will touch him back, and then they have sex. So every single touch winds up having to be sexual, and she keeps going this way, and he keeps, chasing after her because she keeps pulling back, because the intention of the touch is not to be affectionate, it's to be sexual. And so what I want to talk about tonight are the different intentions of touch, and try to find out how to get past that. But, you could have affectionate touch. There's a lot of people that are affectionate, but you sometimes have to have that passionate touch to get back into the bedroom. And there's people that have been in different abuse situations too. So there's a lot to look at.
Okay.
So there's 5 different touches. And
Okay.
this is Dr. Patty Britton wrote the touch continuum for sex coaches, and to understand all about the different touches. She was actually my mentor, and I learned under her. So the first one, in order to reach the highest sexual experience, the sexual touch, you have to be able to start from the beginning, which is healing touch. So if you are not touching at all and you're in a relationship, you want to make sure that you're not just automatically trying to get sexual touch. You want to start with healing touch. That could be like a massage, not a sexual massage, but even just like you've had a long day, you need someone to rub your shoulders, or you have a headache, so your partner will rub your head. That's considered a healing touch.
Yeah.
So if you're not comfortable doing those things, or if your partner gets, a headache or a foot ache, and you want them to rub it and they won't, you're missing that initial number 1 step. So make sure, if you're not having touch in your relationship, to start making sure you start with healing touch. Then you have affectionate touch. And that's just even with friends, with family, with your partner. Healing touch is hugs. You see your partner come in the door, you give them a kiss. They're cooking, and you come up behind them and put your arm around their waist. How you doing, honey? Or you give them a kiss on the cheek. That's affection.
Mm-hmm.
If you go right from nothing to grabbing and expecting someone to have sex, and you're missing that affection, that's where that discrepancy of touch comes in, where the woman is like, every time you touch me, it has to be sex. So that's the second one, affectionate touch. Then you have the sensual touch, and that's more when you get together, you do some kissing, you see each other, you have a little bit of, just a little bit more of the flirting, a little more of the intention behind it, but not necessarily actually having sex. Then the erotic touch, that's where you're actually doing foreplay, where you're pouring candles on the body, where you're having some oral, or you're doing a sensual massage, where you're actually intending to potentially have sex, but you're still having a little bit more of that intimacy. And then after all of that, you're feeling good, have sex. Number 5 is sexual touch. That's when,
go for it.
yeah, that's when the intention is just kind of like, I just want to grab you, let's go for it, because we've had and we're comfortable knowing the intentions of all the other touches. So that's, I think, a very, very important thing to understand, is that for the people that are not used to touch, they need to start from the beginning, start with healing, go to the affection, then start doing a little bit more of the sensual, sexual, erotic, and sexual. Make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. And you got a lot of people that are tuning in and watching.
Hi, everybody.
Editor, Karen South. Karen was opened up and said in her previous marriage, she was not kissed for 9 years.
Wow.
And we got Cheryl Wilk, Mahmoud Alkawaja, Yvette Oban, Maxamed Kapdaraxman, and Tiffany Wright. I want to thank you all for tuning in.
Watching,
the
everybody.
Laws of Sex. Yeah. And participate in the conversation, because we really do want to hear what your thoughts are. So, it's interesting. I never looked at touch in terms of types of touch. What do you think is the law of sex there when you become more intentional about the purpose behind the touch? How does that enhance the relationship?
Well, when you have a situation, unfortunately, when like in the comment about not having touch or kiss for 9 years, there's an intimacy that most couples need. And you can be in a relationship and not kiss. And if both people are happy with that and they're okay, then you usually could have a good relationship, but it's not an intimate um, sexual relationship. For some people, it's okay. So it has to be something that both people are good with.
Mhm.
But there are a lot of people that you just brings you to another level when you're having that intimacy. A lot of times I'll have people come in and I'll just say, listen, you haven't touched in so long. Just go and hug each other for 20 seconds and just see what it feels like. Smell your partner's hair, touch their skin, feel their heartbeat. And kind of even the smell, the pheromones, a lot of that stuff is going to help you want to be more intimate with your partner. I mean, nine out of 10 couples say that touch is very important or extremely important to building the intimacy, but only one in three people in a relationship say that they're not touched enough. So you have three couples and one of those couples is going to say, my partner doesn't touch me or doesn't touch
Well,
me enough.
that's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a
Well,
lot.
I think a lot of people don't grow up with touch. I mean, I grew up in a family where my parents told me they loved me every 7 minutes.
Right.
Now, that's a good thing because it makes you a loving person. But sometimes people say, how many times do you need to hear it? So it's so
That's what I'm saying. It's not always bad for some people who don't necessarily need that, but it is important to people who thrive on that, which most humans do thrive on some sort of touch. Like I said, unless there's been like previous abuse or other things that may have caused some issues. But a lot of people are brought up that way where they may say, oh, love you, and then give a kiss on the cheek, but they don't get that hug from their parent. And a lot of times
yeah,
that transfers into their relationships, but then you don't want to have someone that transfers that into a relationship and have someone like me who has a thrive for touch and have a relationship with someone who doesn't touch. It's very difficult for people that do thrive on that to be in an intimate relationship with someone who does not provide that.
well, you got to look. It's almost like an index. Everybody has an index. What's your touching
Right,
requirement index? A person that scores high on the scale can't be with someone that scores low.
right,
They're never going to be happy together.
right. And it is important even just for healing touch. I mean, touch is healing.
Hmm.
That's why they have the massages and they have, just holistic healing. There's a lot of healing in touch and scent and smell, the
Yeah.
oils, there's a lot of that healing. So the touch is very, very important. One of the things that I found that also can be very helpful, which I have of my Toy Talk Thursday for
Hmm.
today,
Hmm.
is massages. And if you want to go to my site, my site is shop. You can drstacyfriedman.com, which you can see right on this slide. drstacyfriedman.com. You can click on the shop link, and it'll bring you to my website. So if you want anything there, TTT20 is the code you can use for 20% off your entire order. But if you put in the search glove or
Hmm.
you put in the search soy candle,
Hmm.
um, some of those soy candles could be edible. They don't burn the skin, but you can heat them up. You can pour it on the skin, and it has a very nice, warm, sexy oil that it kind of turns into a massage oil. So you can use the glove. A lot of the gloves have the little thingamajiggies on them. So when you give a massage, let's say you take the candle and you pour it, and then you can give a massage on there with the glove. That is very, very sensual for touch. And some of the soy candles are edible. So you could lick off the body after you're doing it. So you're having the licking and the touching.
That's fun.
Yes, yes. Massages are a great way to promote touch, but make sure that the intention behind the touch is not always sexual. Otherwise, your partner may not want the massage because they're
Oh,
afraid that they're not going to enjoy it, knowing that they can't just relax because it's going to turn into sex. So it's important to say, I would love a massage, but my intention is to actually get a nice massage without sex. So speak your intention sometimes.
That's good. That's
Sometimes
good
you need it
feedback.
with you.
That's
Yeah.
really,
Now I wish you could see this position. Let's see if I can turn my computer. See?
oh,
That is my sexational position
I
on
like it.
my um, that one is just a partner on top of another partner with
Mhm.
their chest on the person's back. That is not as common as something like missionary, where you're always touching in the front.
Mhm.
Sometimes the back feels different sensations that the front does. So it's kind of nice to turn it up and change it up a little bit by having your partner maybe put a little bit of oil or massage lotion and go on the partner's back and rub their body up and down just to feel a different sort of touch, not just from the hands, but from your actual body.
I like it.
So could be that could be a little bit erotic. So basically, my the whole thing about the touch is going back with COVID is that when, especially when you're sick, you need that first level of touch, which is the healing touch. It says my internet is unstable. Am I stable?
I
Am I
we
unstable?
we can hear you. Your video was a little, but you're okay. Go ahead. You're
Okay,
fine.
I'm okay now. I'm stable, sort of.
Um,
um, so yeah, going back to the being sick, that healing touch is what I was craving and needing. I just wanted someone to just, I can lay on, hold me, rub my head with when I had the headache, rub my body very lightly when I had the aches and pains from the fevers. So I think that it's important that the touch starts with the healing
mm,
and works our way up to the sexual. That's going to be what people have to remember, is that if you don't have those other touches, then you're not going to get to the sexual part of it. And I think that's what is going to be something that a lot of couples are going to have to understand if they want to try to improve their intimacy. So basically, we are at the what my law is, my Dr. Stacy laws of sex, is just basically understanding the importance of what touch means to you in your relationship and for your partner, because like we talked about before, it may be completely different depending on your needs. And so continue the act of touch. And basically, to touch is to give someone life. Yeah, hug yourself, touch yourself. I just gave myself goosebumps, actually. um, but I think that that's what my law of sex is just the importance of touch. And in my book, you probably have it on that
sure.
old one that I sent you right there. I do have a free book that you could download. If you do want a paperback, you can get it on Amazon. Friedman.com and click on the book link, and you can find either one there where you can get a lot of information about touch and ways to learn about your body and things like that. So feel free to have a free download on that one. So I'm hoping that everyone was able to get something out of it and the importance of touch, especially during this tough time. Trying to think if I had one more thing of advice for people that are dating. What advice would we have for somebody that's dating at this time? This is a tough time for dating. You know, a lot of people, it actually almost gives you an opportunity to get to know the person a little bit better and not just jump in the sack with them if you want to be, careful. So if anything, this time of, the pandemic may be a good opportunity to actually build solid foundations in a relationship. So when you do have the opportunity to get together, if you feel that you really connect, get yourselves a test, make sure you're safe, and try to get together, the distance, whatever you can do to be safe.
That's really good advice. Really good advice. Do you recommend that before someone has sex, they test their potential partner?
I mean, being that I'm not a physician in that aspect, you just have to use your common sense. I mean, if you know someone that's dating and they've gone out and they're going out with all these people, at least just say, listen, if you want to go out and we want to meet, give yourself 2 weeks. We'll talk in the meantime of not, being with another partner, and let's connect. I mean, you can't really ask everyone to be testing if they're not symptomatic, because you don't want to money wise and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's fair to ask, if you're connecting on the phone or you're connecting in person, face to face, to say, listen, if you want to get together, let's just give each other 2 weeks, make sure we don't have any symptoms, or 10 days, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then let's connect. That
I
might be,
think that
a safe way.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Good advice. So just so everybody remembers, if you want to get in touch with Dr. Stacy Friedman, you can visit her website at drstacyfriedman.com. You can email her at stacy@drstacy.org, or call her at 561-899-7669. And you can also link up with her on social media, and those are all of her social media handles right there. So definitely be sure to connect. Download her free ebook called Confessions and Lessons of a Sexpert, which is also at the website. And last but not least, don't forget about your amazing Facebook group. So tell us one more time, what is the Facebook group about?
It's women's only, so no men allowed. And it's just a place. It's called Intimacy, Sex, and Empowerment. And we have over 1,000 amazing women, and people are asking all these different types of questions to help with their relationships, to help with dating, to help with intimacy and empowering themselves. And it's just a safe place for people to chat about sex and hopefully get a lot of great advice from other women.
Well,
so my passion is to help you create yours. So I'm glad you're all here to join me. Thank you, Blanca, for being here with me as well. And
thank you. It's an honor to co-host with you and to learn so much from you every week. You truly care about your community, and you're constantly educating all of us, and we really appreciate you. And we're just so glad that you are back and healthy.
Me too. So yes, we will see you all next week. And thanks again for the laws of sex. Dr. Stacy signing off.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next week. Same time.
Have a good one.
Same place. Good night.
Thank you.